a little bit about Live to Give and what we're going to talk about today, please.
As you and I have spoke about before, I often say is in order to perform at your best is I often say is performance equals skill minus interference. And what I mean by that, if you're an elite scholar, elite athlete, elite coach, or elite whatever you do, you can have all the skill in the world, but if you can't block out your interferences, whatever those interferences is, if you're not mentally well, if you're not happy and satisfied, if you're not doing purposeful work, if you're not in healthy relationships, if you're not showing compassion towards yourself, it's really difficult to perform at the highest level. But what I'm beginning to learn more and more over the last year is serving others is key to having wellness.
Why is it important to talk about provider wellness, Tony?
Yeah, I often say that in any type of field you're in, having wellness is absolutely key. Because as you and I spoke about in the past, is how does one become elite? How does one become elite? And we went through how to train your body, how to train your craft, how to train your mind, and that's really about mental health. Um, but I must say that over the last year, I'm beginning to recognize that spiritual health and relationship health and giving back to others, serving others in conjunction with healthy mind, healthy body, is really important. But I think, when we think about physical health and mental health, I think serving others plays a really significant role.
Tony, again, we started to talk about this a little bit about the provider wellness and everything that, you mentioned how to become elite and the mental, physical, spiritual aspects of your life. We get caught up. People get caught up and they don't understand that giving back could be one of the best things you could do for your health. Go ahead, Tony, please. I'm going to let you have some time here and just riff on that thing. Go for it, brother.
Yeah, like you said, Tom, it's not just provider wellness. It's in any type of work that one does is having effective wellness, have effective work-life balance is key. Having to find joy in your work, to find happiness in your life. But I often say that what do we want? Whatever job that we're doing, we want to provide quality work. We want to be efficient at the work. We want to have input. But at the end of the day, we want to be appreciated. And that sort of delves into a lot that we're talking about. Over the last year, we've spoken a lot about physical health, mental health, but I think spiritual health and relationship health is really key. And that sort of delves in that whole concept of how we serve others. Because I often say anything that can decrease one's level of stress and reduces the inflammation in your body and promotes wellness.
What do people do if they can't find a primary care physician? They can't get into these. I like to think of them as cliques or groups or something, but if they're full, they're full. And if they can't take any more patients, what are people going to do?
Yeah, Tom, that's a really important question. And healthcare is changing so rapidly. And having access to a primary care physician is getting really tough these days because a lot of people are not going into primary care per se, because oftentimes the salaries of primary care versus specialists in medicine are very, very different. And I often say, if you look at the average debt of a medical student coming out of medical school, it's over $190,000. And so if you start out with $190,000 debt, and if you want to, and after you finish medical school um, at age 26 or so, is being a resident, your salaries are not very high. And if you're training for 3 years or 5 years, the amount of money that you make to cover your debt is really tough. And I often say that the things that really keep people up at night, and two of the things protective for provider wellness is, one is having the ability to handle debt, and then two is having a mentor.
And so when you talk about decreasing chronic stress and systemic inflammation, hear all this talk all the time, Tony, but it's like, okay, that's all well and good, but can it really happen if we're helping others? Can we decrease our stress? Have you seen this happen?
Yeah, it is. I often say that anything that decreases one's level of stress, I think brings more wellness and more happiness. It could be anything. It could be prayer, it could be music therapy, it could be meditation, it could be gardening, it could be reading. Anything that brings you a sense of peace and joy is actually really important.
How impactful do you think that the technology, we're going to talk about technologies in the next segment, but as far as the personal technologies that we have now with always being connected,
Uh-huh.
do you think that that's adding a significant layer to our stress levels with always being turned on, always having a computer in your hand, always look? I mean, I see students all the time. You do too. You have young people around you all the time. I mean, I
Sure.
mean, these kids are born with it in their hands.
Yeah, I think the social media has has really given kids a sense of isolation. And I think have because human beings are social people, and having those relationships where you can talk face to face someone uh, is actually really important. And I think I often say that the social media and technology is actually good and bad. It's good because it makes your life more efficient, but it's bad in that you don't have that social interaction. You don't have that interaction with people to get their feedback, how their emotions are, how they're feeling, how one reads the room. And I think those are really important.
But expand on that a little bit, and then we'll do some talk about some innovation stuff. When get as much of that in as we can. Go ahead.
Sure. The prescription, the 7 steps to take now that the Wonder Drug book outlines is, one is smart small. So every day, if you give 60 minutes of your time where you connect more with others, do kind acts, showing compassion, selfless service to others is actually key. Like, for example, if you wake up in your morning, and if you help your spouse and kids out preparing lunch, or or um, or other actually things. Two is be thankful, because oftentimes showing appreciation towards someone is really important. So writing a short thank you note to someone to actually show your appreciation. Like after the show, I'll write Tom, man, that was a great radio show. Thank you for what you do. Third is how you be purposeful, meaning that it's what can I do to make your day a little better? What can I do to make your day a little better? And I really think doing some kind acts is key. In this world, in the political climate we're in, it's so black and white. And finding common ground with others is absolutely key, because regardless of if you're on the right or left side of the aisle, we all have some common ground. We enjoy seeing the sunset. We all cry. Uh, we all care about our kids, our friends. Uh, Next thing, five, is see it, because you have to see it to feel it. Six is elevate, because you want to gravitate towards people who do kind things for others and are happy about it. What I mean by that is just to do things, um, but do things that you're passionate about, that brings you purpose, and passion is key. And then the last thing is know your power. And I think this is important because using your time, talent, and treasure to serve others. For example, last week when my wife were in Seattle, we were walking around the lake, And we saw this homeless person that just didn't want to talk, that just wanted to talk. And so my wife and I stopped, and we literally spent a half hour with this person. And after we actually spoke to him, he was like, "Well, thank you for talking with me. Thank you for listening." And I think what people really need in this world is we need more compassion. We need to use our time to help others. And then last is the book ends with a few quotes. One of the quotes they use is, "You are powerful, be empathetic, compassionate, grateful, caring, and kind are human beings' greatest strengths." And then another quote that they mention is, "Your mind shines brightest when you enlighten others, your heart when you encourage others, your soul when you elevate others, and your life when you empower others." And I think that's really powerful.
Dr. Anthony Avellino he's just a joy to work with. I mean, he's so giving, gives me, gives me, I try to maintain my humility with this kind of stuff because it's just a blessing to have a friend like him who's talking so many nice things and saying good things about what we do. But the guests make the show. I'm just here to help spin some stories and get things going. And I want to spin some stories for you and help you get better because I learned how to get better from many, many people who helped me get better. And that's the name of the game, everybody. Get better. Just get better a little bit every day. So until next time, I want to tell y'all, I'm Papa Tom. Check out all of our stuff on the website. Go to our YouTube channels. Please subscribe. Do all the good things because that's what's helping keep us going. It helps keep our sponsors making money. And that's the way it works in this business. So we need your help. Please reach out to us. We want to be there to serve you. Until next time, Papa Tom, peace out, everybody. I'm out.